With Jordan, just what does it mean for a team, in a unit like yours, when the left tackle is not only the best player but the leader of the team?
I mean, it takes care of everything, right? So not only Jordan, though, but you got Cash, Zai, one of the new guys, Mana, one of the new guys, some of the guys that have been in backup roles too, like Zach. They're all coming together. It's not just Jordan. I mean, Jordan's a big part of it, but everybody else is working together, and I think that's a huge thing.
Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. Two-part question for you.
Yep.
This opportunity for you, what does it mean for you? And then also, can you talk about working with George and also Andre?
Yeah. I mean, it's a dream come true for me. Once I didn't play a lot of ball. Little JUCO, had a cup of coffee in D1, but after that, I got into student equipment managing at Jackson State, and I worked my tail off. And Timmy Chang, he gave me a chance, and from there, I was his assistant. He gave me to Hal Mummy, got in with Jay Norvell, who's now at Colorado State, back with Hal, and then with Coach Prime. So I mean, this is everything I've been working for. It's a true blessing to me and my family.
And then working with the other two.
Dre and George, I love them. Dre, I got a chance to meet him in 23, and we've been bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. We've worked with similar guys in the past too. AJ Smith, he's the air raid run and shoot guy, but he was his line coach in the UFL and the XFL. And G, I've been around George for a long time too, and I think we come together, we bounce ideas off each other. I think it's a great and beautiful thing.
Tony, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Tony Casolo, Buffalo's Wire. The offensive line group has a good mix of old and new faces.
Mm-hmm.
How are they coming together after the first couple practices?
I think it's great. I don't think there's any cliques in the room. I think everybody's coming together. We have an open space for that to be the common goal too. So 5 equals 1 with the other line. You can't just have one guy doing his own thing. You got to have all 5 of your guys doing the same thing at the same time, and they're really buying into that.
Go ahead.
Hi, Coach Adam, Mr. Tiger, 24/7 Sports. You talked about some of the coaches you've worked under. You've been under Coach Prime for a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
Could you speak specifically just to kind of how that chemistry and how that's worked well for you going from Jackson State into this new role here at Colorado?
Yeah, it's just trust and belief. I think that's the biggest part of it, right? So when I got with Prime, Brett Bartolone, he was my branch from that. I worked with him at the University of Nevada, and he got the opportunity to be the offensive coordinator, and I volunteered. They needed somebody to help with offensive line, and I just came in and I worked, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked. I was a little starstruck a little bit, Took me about 2 to 3 months to actually go into the office and, not walk past and say, oh, he's on the couch, I better keep going, So I was just trying to keep my head down and just work. And then that just built trust within him to myself. And, I just try to do everything that he asked me to do, and I don't bat an eye, and I think that's how it built.
Jack, go ahead.
Hey Coach, I'm Jack Harlow with Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Just curious, reflecting on last season, just what areas in particular do you feel like this offensive line needs to improve in to kind of take the next step?
Running the ball. We have to run the ball. That's a non-negotiable. We had 2 of the best players in college football last year, and of course we're going to utilize that, right? And so if it's a weapon and a strength, why leave it on the table? But we have to run the ball, and the team has to depend on the offensive line this year for us to be successful like we're planning and hope to be.
Scott, go ahead.
Hey Coach, Scott Proctor, DNVR.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you. I'm curious, you've been rocking with Chauncey Gooden since 2022, when you recruited him at Jackson State. What's it been like to be a part of his recruiting process and now have him as part of your part of this program?
A long time coming. He came to us at Jackson State. He was a freshman, and at that camp then, I wanted him to play for me right then and there. That's how dominant he was then, and I knew that he was only going to grow and get better in time, so we just kept that relationship going and build and build and build, and he's somebody I have a lot of high praise for and a lot of high hopes for. He should be still in high school right now. He's an early enrollee, so it's going to take him a little time to get used to the pace of it and the way that we run things, but I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and I'm very proud of him.
Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Matt Smith, when you guys went out and attacked the transfer portal, based upon last year, based upon some of the things, some of the deficiencies you were talking about, what did you target and how do you feel you achieved those goals?
Athletes and size, right? So in order to run the ball, not only you have to be powerful, but you have to be athletic too to change up the schemes. Like if you want to pull a guard or pull a tackle or whatnot. And then we try to get length on the edge too. So my philosophy is that if you get tackles can easily screw down inside. They can go for guards. Yeah, I mean, you don't see 6'6", 6'7" dudes just walking around the earth anyway. They're hard to find, much less some that are strong and fast and can bend and they're athletic too. So that's just part of the molding and development process too. And I think that we hit on that pretty good.
So with the guys specifically, guys like Zai, maybe could you run through those guys a little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little synopsis of what you saw in them?
So Zai Chrysler, he's a transfer from Illinois. He's everything we want in a guy. You know, he comes to work every day. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He just works. He works. He's strong. I mean, he was all Big 12, or all Big 10 for 2 years. Mana to Mani. He's a hybrid guy too. He's played guard and tackle, and he's a big, powerful, athletic guy. And not only that, he's a grown man. Like he's married. He's got 2 kids, so he's got other things to go about other than just himself. Like he's looking at things in the eyes of a man. Like he's the group dad, really. Like the other day he was talking about make sure you guys eat breakfast so you can have a better practice, like that type of deal. It's a good thing coming with them.
Last one, Jake, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, we saw Philip Houston got injured last year. Just, do you have an update on his status when he could possibly be back full-time?
Not 100% sure on that. It probably won't be spring ball, but I think he's rehabbing very well, and he's doing pretty well too. He's starting to fill out a little bit more, so he's going to have a little bit more size, a little bit more strength. So when you got an issue with one part of your body, you got several other parts of your bodies too, so you should be able to work and strengthen those as well.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.